Hey guys, Carlos Colon here with Georgia Perimeter Homes. Today we're going to be talking about how the market changes in the fall and or the winter. And does it change, and if it changes, how much, or what is it exactly that changes? So before we jump in, if you have not done so already, hit the subscribe button to our channel, hit the notification bell, that way you get a message every time that we've got a new video posted, and hit the like button. So all right, guys, so you've heard it said before that the market changes. Oh, I want to sell my house in spring, or hey, we're getting closer to the end of the year in the fall and the winter. I'm going to pull my house off the market and just wait for the spring before I come on. But I've heard that the market changes during that time. How does it change? Well, it's true, but we have to define change and what we're really talking about here. So I think the way I would define change as far as the real estate market's concerned is number of showings and then number of offers potentially in relation to the number of showings. So it's really more about how many people are seeing my home physically in person, not necessarily online or anything like that. And then why does that change? So in order to do this, we have to really establish the basis for average companies and the way they operate. So the word I'm going to use here is seasonality. I think seasonality is the most important way to kind of compare what the market does within each season. So what I mean about this is not necessarily about fall or winter or anything else. It's the seasonality of when you have your high peaks and your low peaks and why. Okay. In springtime, we do have a higher peak of families that have children when the school ends that then want to make the change and want to make the move. And then over the summertime, it dwindles a little bit, but it's still strong because kids are not in school, so they're still kind of going along with the parents when they go out to shop. But then in August, we get that family drop-off. Okay, I'm specifically talking about families because we're talking about children being in school. And so this affects the seasonality. The way it affects the seasonality is the number of families that are shopping. Families with children specifically. So when you hit August, that starts to dwindle off a little bit because those same families with kids don't want to pull their kids out once they've started the school year and then transfer them to another. It happens all the time, but it's not as common. Let's put it that way. So as you get closer to fall and the winter, those same families, of course, are not really looking to move for the most part. But we have several families that do that, just so you know, but they don't like to change school districts if they do. So just keep that in mind. So that does affect the seasonality. And what that means is we have less showings in the fall and the winter due to them kind of pulling out. But that's only one type of client. And so this really depends on how it affects your property. It really depends on who your end user is more likely to be. If you're in a condo in Atlanta, this is not going to affect you at all as far as fall or winter. Zero effect. But there's a bigger part of the seasonality that people don't talk about often, which is going to be holidays. Okay, this does not so much relate towards families, although it's more about family gatherings. So think about fall and the things that happen between the fall and the winter, and then how that could possibly affect the real estate market and how many people are on the market. So, all right, so let's say you're going into fall. School just started. Summer's coming to a close in about a month or so. We're going into fall. What holidays do we have coming up? I think the first one we have is going to be fall break, okay, to begin with. We also have Thanksgiving that comes in November. Then we have Christmas, then New Year's. That's all before the New Year starts. So with that said, think about how long those breaks are. Fall break is typically what, Kate, a week? Okay, then you've got Thanksgiving, which is going to be at least 4 days because it's always on Thursday, leads through Sunday. And so you've taken out almost a full week there. So we've got 2 weeks gone right there. You've got Christmas. That's definitely a full week by itself. And then New Year's, which is another full week by itself. You have got a full month gone where people are more focused on family gatherings than they are on house shopping. That's the seasonality of it. Now, here's the other side of that, and that's before we even cross January, or the second we cross January. That's all we're talking about right now, or before that. So now let's talk about how does that affect you personally. Well, if you're selling your home during that time, that means that will you have less showings? Yeah, probably. Yeah, than you did in spring, but you'll also have less competition. That also means that the people that are seeing your home and are viewing it are, I'm not going to call them desperate, I'm going to say they are very motivated. Those are the people that are going to buy a home no matter what. So if you receive an offer from those people during that time frame, you know they're serious. And I have to say this, just a clause in here. Obviously, I can't control everyone being serious, but I can tell you, if you're shopping during those time frames when most people are gathering, most families are gathering, okay, that means that they're going to move no matter what. Okay, this is happening. So the offers are not these lukewarm, like, oh, I kind of like that one, I kind of like that one. No, I'm submitting an offer because I want to move into this home. Now, I want this to be done quickly because, again, there are these holiday seasons that are coming in right now, and I don't want to spend all that time dealing with all this. I want to get this done quickly, and I want to be able to enjoy the rest of my time. Okay? That's what we typically see in the real estate world. So I wouldn't say that it's not worth it to list, to buy or sell a home during that time. I would say that you need to understand as a seller, those are very motivated buyers that are buying during that time. And as a buyer, okay, if you're selling a home, you might have more leverage during the fall or winter because you have less competition on the buy side. So you might go into a situation that might be a multiple offer and you're only competing against one other person rather than 4 or 5 for a great home during that time. So your chances of getting a better deal are good. So it's good for both, but you just have to understand the seasonality of it. So after you cross that January time period, again, we now have winter break. Then after that, we have spring break. So it just keeps going. And you have to understand, the biggest part of that is that fall-winter part. And so you have all these breaks during these sections. And you've got to understand how to kind of time this right and understand what to expect during that time frame. What I typically tell our clients is you'll see, as a seller, you'll see waves of buyers that come during this time period. So what will happen is, some sellers will reach out, oh my God, we haven't had any showings in like 6 days. And guess what? Over the course of the 4 or 5 days after that, we have a huge wave of buyers that just randomly hit the market and are interested in these homes and viewing them. And then we've got multiple offers out of the blue. And so you have to understand it really does come in waves, and you have to be patient, and you have to follow the guidance of an experienced real estate agent in this, okay? Your real estate agent is your advisor. Please take their opinion and their concerns into consideration when you make a decision on how you do this and how you strategize it. So that's all for today. If you have any questions about selling or buying a home, give us a call, 770-314-1285, or check out our great homes listed online at georgiapermanenthomes.com. Thanks. Bye.